Hello and welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute-a-day podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse, recorded here in the dining room of the Bible Bistro, located in Sharonville, Ohio. Hey there, friend. Welcome back to Daily Dose Radio here in the Bible Bistro, and this week we're studying Psalm 40 all this week. That's our subject. Of course, that's what we do here on Daily Dose Radio. It's 5 minutes a day, 5 days a week, studying the Psalms verse by verse. And this week, we're going to study Psalm 40, today, verses 1, 2, and 3. Before I jump in, let me just ask you to do me a favor. And if you get a chance, please share Daily Dose Radio on your social media page, whatever that might be, if it's Facebook or Twitter or YouTube or wherever you go for your social media fix. Maybe you're on Spotify or Instagram, or maybe you're on WhatsApp. Wherever you might be, share Daily Dose Radio, and let's see if we can invite some more folk to come in here and enjoy 5-minute Bible study every day with us. I appreciate you doing that. Today we're looking at verses 1, 2, and 3 in Psalm 40. Now this psalm is of the choir master, a psalm of David, and as you will see here in just a moment, it follows hard on Psalm 39. And let me read the first 3 verses for us, and then I'm going to go back and pick up the last 2 verses here in Psalm 39. So the first 3 verses of Psalm 40. I waited patiently for the Lord, and he inclined unto me and heard my cry. He brought me up out of the horrible pit, out of the miry clay, and set my feet upon a rock, and established my goings. And he hath put a new song in my mouth, even praise unto our God. Many shall see it, and fear, and shall trust in the Lord. Okay, so that's verses 1 through 3 in Psalm 40. And as I said, it follows really hard on Psalm 39, because if you'll notice in Psalm 39, what you have there in the last 2 verses, he says, Hear my prayer, O Lord, and listen unto my cry. To my tears do not be silent, for I am a stranger with you, a sojourner like all of my fathers. Spare me, and I will be cheerful before I go and am no more. So he prays that prayer at the end of 39, and then notice 40, beginning in verse 1. I waited patiently for the Lord, and he inclined unto me and heard my cry. So the cry in verse 12 of Psalm 39 that begins there is answered here in Psalm 40 in verse 1 and following. He brought me up out of the horrible pit, out of the miry clay, and set my feet upon a rock. Isn't that wonderful? This is a salvation event, because the rock here is Christ, and he established my goings. It's what he does, isn't it? He establishes our goings in Christ. He takes us out of the horrible pit, out of the miry clay, as the apostle puts it in the New Testament. We're translated from the kingdom of darkness into the kingdom of his dear Son. The rock is a representative of Christ in the Old Testament, and here we have it in verse 2. Our feet are set upon the rock. And then he says, he put a new song in my mouth. Now remember what he said there in verse 13. He said, I will be cheerful. I'm going to be cheerful. Well, he got a whole lot more than cheered up, didn't he? He has a new song. And of course, every time we have this, and we have it so very often in the book of Psalms, this new song that's looked forward to is sung for us in Revelation chapter 4 and Revelation chapter 5 by the saints gathered there before the throne of God. And so this new song, we know what it is. It's a song about Christ, and it's a song of praise to our God. He has put a new song in my mouth, even praise unto our God. Many shall see it and fear, and shall trust in the Lord. So the very act of salvation is a demonstration of God's power over the pit and the miry clay, over all the power of the enemy. It's a translation from one thing to another. It's a recreation of the heart of man, because a new song is in the mouth, and it's also a testimony to all those round about us that Jesus alone saves. Isn't that wonderful? Well, such a great way to start off this psalm. I wonder what else we might have coming up. Well, we'll see some interesting things in verses 4 through 6 tomorrow. So I hope you'll join me then here on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. For more fresh and delicious Bible studies, podcasts, books, and more, check out the Bible Bistro online and on YouTube. Join me again next time for Daily Dose Radio.